At least 700 people were reportedly killed in Tanzania following 3 days of post-election unrest. The opposition made the claim on Friday evening, accusing security forces of using deadly force to suppress nationwide protests after Wednesday's disrupted presidential vote. The figure, which has not yet been independently verified, was reported by France 24, citing statements from opposition leaders who described the violence as the worst the country has seen in decades. Protests erupted shortly after polls closed on Wednesday. Demonstrators accused President Suluhu Hassan's government of orchestrating an unfair election after several opposition candidates were barred from running and the vote proceeded without meaningful competition. By Thursday, the unrest had spread to multiple cities, including Dar es Salaam, Dodoma, and Mwanza. Witnesses said police fired tear gas and live bullets ammunition to disperse the crowds. Hospitals reported dozens of casualties arriving overnight, and morgues began to fill. The opposition's statement claimed that more than 700 people had been unalived and several thousands others injured. Government officials did not confirm that number, but described the unrest as, quote, a coordinated attempt to destabilize the country. Security forces imposed curfews in major urban centers, blocking roads and restricting movement. In Dar es Salaam, residents said the streets were almost completely deserted by nightfall, except for army patrols and burning barricades left behind by fleeing protesters. Local journalists reported that internet services remained heavily restricted, with access to social media platforms such as X, Facebook, and WhatsApp either slowed or cut off entirely. The restrictions made it difficult to verify claims or obtain footage from affected areas. Independent news coverage also faced pressure. Several reporters told international outlets that their credentials had been suspended and that they were warned not to broadcast scenes of the violence. The United Nations Human Rights Office expressed alarm over the situation. In a statement issued in Geneva, the agency said it was deeply concerned by credible reports of excessive force used by Tanzania security officers. The office called on authorities to respect the right to peaceful protest and to allow journalists to report freely. President Suluhu Hassan's administration has not responded directly to the opposition's claim of 700 deaths, but maintained that the election was lawful and peaceful in most regions. Government spokespeople accused what they described as foreign-funded actors of exaggerating the scale of the violence to damage Tanzania's image. The elections held on Wednesday effectively guaranteed President Suluhu another term in office. Most major opposition parties were unable to field candidates after disputes with the Electoral Commission. Turnout was reportedly low, and protesters began almost immediately after early results were announced. Witnesses in Mwanza and Mbeya said demonstrators set fire to government buildings and police posts, while security forces responded with live rounds. Video clips shared before the social media shutdown appeared to show officers firing into the air as crowds scattered. Human rights organizations, including Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, called for an independent investigation into the reported killings. Both groups warned that the situation could deteriorate further if the government continued to restrict communication and assembly. Meanwhile, several prominent Tanzanian celebrities who supported President Suluhu's re-election campaign were said to be in hiding. According to local entertainment sources, musician Diamond Platnumz and others had faced online backlash and threats from angry citizens who blamed them for endorsing the ruling party. Their management teams have not issued public statements, and their social media pages remain inactive amid the nationwide blackout. Opposition leaders said many of their supporters were still missing. They accused security forces of carrying out nighttime raids under the cover of curfews imposed in Dar es Salaam and other cities. Families have been gathering outside hospitals and police stations in search of relatives. As of late Friday, authorities had not released an official casualty figure. State television reported that order had been restored in most regions, though residents in the capital continued to report gunfire and roadblocks through the night. The international community has urged calm. The African Union called on Tanzania's leaders to engage in dialogue, while the United Nations warned that continued violence could destabilize the broader East African region. Diplomatic observers say the crisis is testing Tanzania's reputation for stability. The country has long been viewed as one of Africa's most peaceful democracies, with a record of economic growth and limited civil unrest. The current wave of violence, they warn, could mark a turning point. From now, the numbers of those killed remains uncertain, and the full impact of the internet shutdown means much of the situation is still unfolding in silence. What is clear, however, is that Tanzania faces one of its most serious political challenges in decades. Reporting for Commentator 254, mimi naitwa the Commentator, mjukuu wake Papa Francis. Munanitafuta hamunipati. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. We are road to 500,000 subscribers. Bye bye for now.
Wanajeshi nani? Unyona rekodi